Good afternoon. My name is Frank Malloy. I'm the chief of police for the Chicago Police Department. I've been asked to conduct the investigation into the death of Joe Costello, and I was informed that you were his number two. Your name is Clint Gregson, is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
And you were Joe's right-hand guy, his number two.
I certainly was. I ran a lot of the operation. Joe was the face of the whole organization, but I ran most of it, yeah.
And this business that Joe was the boss for, was it going well? Was business good, or was it bad, or were there problems that you knew about?
Well, it was going very good, actually. What with the prohibition and all, we got a lot of alcohol sales going on across the country, across a lot of states, and we were raking in quite a lot of dough. So it's an unfortunate time for Joe to pass on, you know?
Have you known Joe a long time, or are you a new player in the business?
Oh no, me and Joe go back a long time, since we were kids, running about the streets of Chicago on the south side. We were always doing little bits of business together, but things got serious there a good few years ago, and we've been doing quite well.
So, with everything going so well with the business, were there plans to expand, or were you trying to just keep yourselves where you were?
Well, that's the crux of the matter. You see, Joe wanted to expand into some drugs like cocaine. Me, I wasn't a fan of that. Then I brought this up with Joe, and well, he wasn't too pleased by the whole thing. But well, I guess none of that matters now that he's dead, huh?
Yeah, that seems fortunate for you. If you two were maybe in disagreement about how the business should be run, maybe now that he is out of the picture, your plans are to take over the business, perhaps? Maybe run it the way you think it should have been run? I mean, that's one way of looking at it.
Hey, I don't appreciate trying to be manipulated here, cop, okay? You understand? You're trying to get at something. I did not kill Joe, okay? Will I take over the business? Probably. But, yeah, I'm not gonna kill the boss for that. That's not my way. We could work it out. I'm sure we could.
And talking of the murder of your boss, I understand that there was a meeting called for tomorrow evening. When did you hear about this?
Well, I only heard about it yesterday from my secretary. She told me wanted to put a meeting on, and that he wasn't in a particularly good mood. Something got him real mad, apparently.
And you don't know perhaps the contents of what that meeting was going to be? You had an idea of what he might want to talk about?
Well, no. Joe was an unpredictable kind of guy. If you knew him, you'd understand. So I didn't have a real idea what was going on. I thought it was business related until she told me that, well, he just heard some information that got him real mad. So, no, I didn't know exactly what was going on, but yeah, the hairs in the back of my neck were on stand, if you know what I'm talking about.
But Joe's body was found holding a letter. It was an anonymous letter, and it was a typed letter on a typewriter, that sort of thing. Inside that letter, there was a number of interesting points made by the author of that letter, saying that members of the business had been skimming off the top, and that Joe's girl, Patsy, hadn't been truly faithful. You wouldn't know anything about either of those issues, would you?
You know, about skimming off the top, that's certainly not me. We were making enough money for me to be okay. You know, I wasn't hurting, and the top dogs in the organization certainly weren't hurting. So if I hear that some of those guys have been taking money, well, I'll have issue with that too. In terms of Patsy, well, she's known to flirt around with a few guys. But, yeah, and I hadn't heard anything about Patsy.
Yeah? Well, I happen to have talked to Patsy. Patsy... Yeah, Patsy told me a couple of things, so I'm going to give you an opportunity to be straight with me here. She told me that she strayed from Joe. You want to talk to me about this, or are you going to play silly buggers with me, huh?
Listen, I don't want to defame Joe's name so soon after he's passed, okay? But, if it helps with the investigation, yeah. Me and Patsy have had a thing for a little while now.
And say Joe found out about that. What do you think he might do to Patsy, or even to yourself?
Yeah, I don't think things would go too well for me and Patsy if Joe ever found that out. Yeah, he was real possessive over her. A little bit too much, some would say. And,
so, say you found out about the meeting, as you said, from your secretary, and you knowing what you knew about the relationship you were having with Patsy, that Joe wasn't happy, maybe the best way to make sure that Joe doesn't show his anger toward you or toward Patsy would be to kill him, huh?
Listen, I told you before, I don't like being manipulated by cops, okay?
The body was found dead.
I know what you're trying to get at, okay? I understand your point of view. Yes, I wouldn't want Joe finding out. And yes, that was a thought in my head when I heard from his secretary that he was mad, okay? That's what I thought, that he's found out about me and Patsy. But to answer your question, no, I didn't kill him for that. I wouldn't kill him by poison. That's not my way.
I don't think I mentioned that he'd been poisoned, Mr. Gregson. How would you know about that, huh?
Listen, okay, this organization is a tight-knit group. You talked to some people already. I got information. You understand?
And so you're saying that poison wouldn't be your way of doing things, no?
No, it wouldn't. If Joe had pissed me off, well, I probably would have smashed his head in.
But of course, that's what everybody would expect of you. I mean, if you wanted to throw somebody off the scent, maybe you might change up your style, huh?
Well, if you want to believe in that make-believe world, then I suppose you can do whatever you want.
Mr. Gregson, I might have questions for you in the future, I might not. So as a consequence, I would ask that you remain in the city. Don't be thinking of leaving anytime soon. You understand?
I ain't going nowhere, copper. Don't worry about that.
That's good. You stay right where you are. Thank you very much for your time, Mr. Gregson. You have a good evening.
You too.